and he is a pompous arse, really. I'm so Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another weekly vlog. I am continuing over one book from last week, and that is The Blade Itself by Jo Abercrombie. I am up to page 91. There isn't any chapter numbers in this book, and it is page 91 of the ebook, so could be different in a physical format, but I'm enjoying it. This is a really interesting book. It's an epic fantasy. It's also known as grimdark because it does deal with a lot of darker topics, and none of our main characters are actually good. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot darker, and it's a book that I thought I would really like but kept putting off. However, Becca is doing a catch-up book club. Like, she has a catch-up book club that she does, and this time they are now tackling the first Law trilogy and then the rest of the Jo Abercrombie books. I did miss out reading the first book in time for the live show, but I've decided, you know what, we're just going to do it, especially because I've got it on Kindle Unlimited, which I was really pleased with, and I am really enjoying it. So we have 3 character perspectives that we're following. You have Glotter, who is a torturer. He himself was tortured, and you learn little bits about his past, about how he was a soldier, a really prestigious soldier, somebody to really look up to, but then he got captured and was tortured for 2 years, and as a result he is in immense pain all the time, and he has become a torturer himself, and I find his perspective really interesting and grotesque. It is so grotesque at points because it's doesn't shy away from the graphic parts of torturing someone, so you know, do with that what you will. Then we have Logan. Logan, I don't know whether he's a soldier or not at the minute, but he is a character that always survives. He is known as Nine-Fingered Logan. He's extremely lucky to always survive. However, he's normally the only one left standing, so is it really lucky if everyone you know doesn't survive? So his story's a bit tragic. Again, we only know little dribs and drabs about it, but currently he is lost in the wilderness, or he was. He was set upon by these things called flatheads. I don't know too much about them, but now he is with an apprentice, Magus, who is taking him to see his superior, and we're learning a little bit about the magic system. So there are Magi, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, people that can manipulate magic. There's also fire spirits and woodland spirits, and you're mainly only seeing that from Logan's perspective. And then the last perspective we have is Giselle, and he is a pompous arse, really. He is a captain. He's taken part in this fencing championship, and all he really wants is to look and have the prestige and money and things that go along with being a part of elite society. That's it. He is so vain, it's ridiculous, and like I said, a bit of a pompous arse. He is not the best character perspective to read from because he is such a douche at times, but it's also kind of fun, and I think his one is the most light-hearted out of the 3 perspectives. However, he is very coincited. We have met our female character, which I know is going to be quite present throughout this book. She is called Ardi. However, we do not get a perspective from her, I don't think. I think it is just the 3 men that we follow, which is a shame because Ardi seems really, really intriguing. At the minute, you're mainly seeing her with Giselle's perspective because she is the sister of his major, and he is giving her a tour of the city, and she is running circles around him. Like, he was very much like, oh, this is going to be a horrible day, she best not be plain and dour, and I can't be bothered with all of this. And then he meets her and she's just running circles around him, she's beautiful, and he's just like, oh good lord. And so it's great seeing him all tongue-tied and stuff because of Ardi and how she can just manipulate her way around people, and I love that. You also have Ardi, Giselle and Glotter. They have a meeting, and you realise that Ardi knew Glotter before he was tortured and really sympathises for him. And there's a lot. I think eventually all of our characters do end up meeting up, and so we're just starting to see the finer points. Things are slowly starting to develop. You're learning little bits about the politics of the world, and that's normally through Glocta's perspective, and I don't know, I really like it. I think it's really good, really intriguing. I'm really am enjoying this. So if I continue to like it, I'm definitely going to get the books physically, and then I will carry on catching up in time for the Catch Up Book Club's live shows that they do. So that would be really good. I don't have a physical book that I'm reading at the minute. I've just finished one over the weekend, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm in an iron between a couple different books because I do have a couple days left of March, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish a full book in that time or not, but I also don't want to start my April TBR just yet. So I'm thinking between these two books. So two very different books. We have Carrie by Stephen King. This was given to me by a colleague at work. I've not read any Stephen King, and this is his first published work, I believe. And yeah, I don't know anything about it. I know it's like horror. Not sure about this one. I've never read any Stephen King. We'll see. But it is short, so that is one that I could finish in the next couple days, potentially, because I actually want to prioritise The Blade itself because I'm really enjoying that. And I am at work for the next few days, so I will be reading The Blade itself at work because I'm reading it on my phone. So I don't know. I'm thinking about having basically a book for at home before I go to work. So it could be this one. Not sure. Or it could be Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, and this is a book that I'm borrowing from my mum. She read and loved this book, absolutely adored it. And I've read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and I've been meaning to pick up his other works, I just haven't yet. And when she read this, she loved it. She was like, you have to give it a try. So I don't know whether to go, because I'm reading The Blade itself and it is quite a dark and heavy fantasy story, whether to go for something that is a bit more light-hearted, because if The House in the Cerulean Sea is anything to go by, it really is just a light-hearted feel-good book. And from the way my mum was talking about this book, it sounds like this one's going to be the same, with some really lovable characters, or whether we stick to the dark themes and go with Stephen King. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm kind of leaning more towards Under the Whispering Door, because that way it gives me a nice palette cleanser for something lighter and fluffy to read. But I think, I don't know. To be honest, I actually really don't know. So this is the plan. I'm going to be reading one of these probably, unless of course I decide to change my mind completely and go for something that I haven't mentioned, which is always a possibility with me. That's it. That is the start of this reading week. Let me know how you've been, what you've been up to, what you're reading currently. And yeah, I should probably get on and get ready, because I need to get myself ready for work, do a bit of cooking so I have something to eat at work, and yeah, just get on with the day. So I will catch up with you soon with some reading updates as to what I have decided to pick up physically. And honestly, I'm also kind of tempted just to focus on The Blade itself and just read that one at home, but because I don't have a Kindle and I read it on my phone, I find it a bit frustrating to be on my phone all the time. Because even though it's reading, it's, I don't know, I do find it a bit frustrating. Like, I keep on and on, sorry, going on a tangent here. I keep on and on about getting a Kindle because I do like reading ebooks when I'm out and about. However, I primarily read them when I'm at work. So during the moments where we get a bit of time, I love to whip out my phone and read a little bit. It's very rare that I get really engrossed in an ebook that I then want to continue reading it at home. Those moments when I'm at home that I wish I had a Kindle to then read the ebook. But normally when I'm at home, I'm picking up a physical book. And so then I was thinking to myself, well, is there any point in getting a Kindle, because I normally only read it when I'm out and about, and at those times I probably wouldn't bring the Kindle with me because I can't have a Kindle at work, so that doesn't really make sense. So I don't know. I still don't know. For these moments, like the fact that I'm loving The Blade itself, yes, a Kindle would be amazing, because then I can scroll away on the Kindle at home and it's going to be great. But to have that, I mean, that's happened I think maybe 3 times this year, which isn't bad considering we're in the 3rd month. But Kindles are expensive, and so I'm like, do I really want to pay out basically £100 for something that I may use once a month at home? And I would take on holiday, sure, but I would also take a physical book on holiday, because I do that. I can't not have a physical book with me. It feels weird. So yeah, I don't know. I still haven't decided. I have been talking about wanting a Kindle for like the past like 5-6 months. I don't know. Basically, I have no idea. I just want to read The Blade itself, but I don't want to be sat on my phone all day. So hence the need to pick up a physical book. But because I really just want to carry on reading The Blade itself, I don't know what physical book I want to read. And I've really scratched my classic itch last week. I read a classic book during that weekly vlog. I also did a separate daily vlog where I read a whole classic book in that vlog, and I don't know when it's going to go up because it was a very much spontaneous video to do. So I don't know, I could pick up another classic book, to be fair, because I am really enjoying it, and then that is a completely different feel to the Blade itself. I don't know. Basically, I've just sat here rambling at you for the last few minutes, and we're no closer to a solution. So I'm gonna save it and just go, as I say all the time, and then can you two talking. But no, we're gonna stop. I do actually have stuff to do, so I will update you with whatever I end up picking up. I just have no idea at all what that's gonna be, so good luck to me. Let me know, put in the comments below what you think I'm going to end up picking up, like if you think it's going to be one of those two books or if I'm going to go for something different, because it'd be interesting to see what you think. Obviously you're going to know really soon anyway, but anyway, right, okay, we're gotta go. I have a few reading updates, as you would expect in a reading vlog, but we have made significant progress with the Blade itself. I am now up to page 330 of the ebook, so I've got about 200 pages of the ebook left to go, chapter Dark Work, and I'm really enjoying this book. Now, the main differences that have happened so far is we have 3 new perspectives. So we follow our 3 main characters that I've spoken about, but we do have 3 new perspectives. They are less. You get a chapter of those every so often. We're mainly following our 3 main characters, but the 3 new perspectives, the first one we have is Major West, and this is someone that we know from Giselle's perspective. I like this one because you're getting more about what's happening where we're mainly based within the story. So we're mainly based in the Union, and that's where Giselle, Glocta, Ardy, Major West, where they all are, and Logan has made his way to the Union. So everyone is there, everyone's in this boiling pot of the Union at the minute, and so it's really interesting getting Major West's perspective because there is a brewings of a war going on, and being a major, obviously he's got his orders, and so that's really interesting to see that develop more. Another character we get is called Pharaoh. It's nice that we actually have a female perspective, although I think it is going to be the only female perspective, but she is actually someone from the Empire, which is south of the Union. This is really hard to describe because there is no map in this book, so it'd be so much easier just to hold it up, but there is no map. The Empire is based south of the Union, across the water. I suppose for me it feels a bit like, say they were France and the Union is England, like kind of do it like that. That's how I've got it in my mind. The Empire is where Glocta was tortured for 2 years. They had a war, a recent war that they just about won. I'm really sorry, there is some works going on, hang on. Okay, that's a bit better, there's less noise going on. There was a war between the Union and the Empire, and Glocta was one of the people that got captured by the Empire and was tortured for a couple of years. So we have Pharaoh's perspective, and she is from the Empire, she was a slave and she's escaping, and I believe she's actually coming to the Union, so it really is going to be a melting pot for all of these character perspectives. And then the final perspective that we get is someone called Dogman, and he was with Logan. The first perspective that we get at the very start of the book was Logan losing his travelling companions, believing that they have died. Turns out that hasn't quite happened, and you're getting the perspective of Dogman, and they are in the north, which I'm kind of seeing as like Scotland, and the north are also wanting to go to war with the Union. So we've got these 2 empires that are now wanting to go to war on the Union, and the Union's kind of stuck in the middle. So you've got this build up, so you can really see, although this first book there isn't much of a plot, there is not much going on. It's definitely a focus on characters and seeing your characters develop, but you can see where it's building to, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I'm loving it so much. I was thinking about it yesterday at work while I was reading, and this book reminds me a bit like the Faithful and Fallen series. The first book in that series by John Gwynne is Malice, and it reminds me of that setup because that first book is a slow book. It's mainly focused around your characters. You're really getting to know them, and then by the end of that book everything's exploded, and then the last quartet is so much going on. There is so much going on, and I love that series, and this feels to me a similar start. So if you do like your epic fantasy that's a bit darker, a bit grittier, there's a lot of stuff going on, this is a good one for it, and I would really say give it a try, especially because it is still available on Kindle Unlimited. So if you're not sure, I think it's a really good way to do it. My only downside, there's a couple points. One, no map, which is really awkward because it's spoken about a lot with the layout of this world. And so it's a little bit frustrating. Like, I don't rely on maps often in books, to be honest, but this would have been helpful just to get an idea of the layout of things. So that would have been good. And also, yeah, the fact that there is only one female perspective. I mean, I mentioned it already. It's kind of expected in this because of the time when it was written. A lot of epic fantasy was done mainly from male perspectives. We're getting a lot more of a equal spectrum. I would say there is more books coming out with female main perspectives within epic fantasy. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't detract from my enjoyment of the book in any way, to be honest. So yeah, that has been great. I've got 2 more late shifts at work, and I do think I'm going to be able to finish it over those 2 days because I am averaging about 100 pages of the ebook a shift. It's just so good, so easy to read. I'm really enjoying it, and there are moments with the torture scenes where I am cringing, absolutely cringing, like teeth, oh my god. Anyway, that's really good. Then, of course, we have the book, which I didn't know what I wanted to read, so I showed up 2 different options, as you would know, because for you it really wasn't that long ago. And yeah, I decided not to go with either of those. Instead, you would have seen me pull The Witcher off my shelves. This is The Witcher: The Last Wish, and this is by Andrzej Sapkowski. I'm sorry, I should have checked the pronunciation of that. I'm really sorry about that, and I'm really enjoying this book. This is really good, and I know it's another epic fantasy, and putting the 2 together was that smart? I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it. I love this edition though. This is absolutely beautiful. This is the illustrated edition, and I'm just in love with it. But this is set up a bit like short stories. I'm really enjoying that because it means before work I'm reading a short story, and I really do love that. And these short stories, because of the nature of them, they kind of feel like a Grimm's fairy tale, which I am loving so much because it goes in with the fact that I want to read more fairy tales and folklore inspired books, which this is definitely giving those major vibes. I am up to page 70. I had to stop in the middle of a chapter because I had to get ready for work, but I'm on the short story of A Grain of Truth, which I'm really enjoying. And because I have seen the TV series, really easy to notice things that happened in that TV series that are happening in this book, and I'm loving that because it's definitely given me more of an idea of what's happening, which is great. I'm loving this. This is so good, and it's such a beautiful edition with the end pages and the illustrations. It's just stunning. This is such a good book. I have been wanting to annotate, but I'm actually not going to with this edition because it is so stunning. The fact that it's illustrated, the fact that the page quality is absolutely amazing. I'm not going to annotate this at all. I'm just going to appreciate those beautiful quotes that are in here because some of them are so good, and just accept it as that because I don't want to annotate in this. I'm sorry, but I don't know why I'm saying sorry to you. I know there's a few people that watch this channel that are a bit like, you do that? You can be safe to say that this beautiful edition is not going to have that. If I really feel like it and I really get into these books, then maybe I'll pick up the paperbacks to annotate, but I'm not sure. I'm really enjoying this book, absolutely loving it, but yeah. This is really good, but this does feel like a Grimm's fairy tale. So for anyone that doesn't actually know what The Witcher is, sorry, I've just kind of assumed that you do. We're following Geralt. Geralt is a witcher, and witchers is basically monster hunters. They go around killing off monsters. However, as much as they are doing a service for the community, a lot of people actually resent them and find them very disturbing, very unusual, and don't like them. at all, to be quite honest. And so you're seeing this from Geralt's perspective, where he's going around, he's doing his job, but he's also despised by the village people, and how difficult it is for him to actually do anything or even have a drink. It's very hard. And obviously alongside that you're getting the stories around the different monsters that he's having to slay, which is why it does feel like a Grimm's fairy tale. I'm just really enjoying this. This is really good fun, and you're getting like little snippets of things which are going to come, and I love it. I think it's really good. Really enjoying this. So those are the two main books. However, yesterday evening when I got back from work, I did decide to pick up the Metamorphoses, and I just read one poem. So this is something that I'm going to try and do, is of an evening time before I go to bed, try and read one poem. So I read, I'm going to butcher these names, Cephalus and Prochorus, and this was just a short one, 6 pages long, about these two young lovers basically, and how easy it is to then have these fears of, like, say you're not going to be faithful, and having that fear of what if they aren't faithful, and then because of those fears, I mean it's very much exaggerated in here, but drastic things happen, and it all does turn out to be unfounded, but it is very sad series of events that happens because of it. So yeah, that's it really. That was that one. I liked it. I'm really pleased that I read just the one. That was really nice, especially because I wasn't quite ready to sleep, which is weird for me. Normally after finishing a late shift I'm straight in bed, but yesterday I was a bit more wired, probably because I had lemonade. But yeah, it was fine. That was fine. The next one I'm kind of looking forward to more, and that's because it's about Minos, and we're getting into like the Minotaur and Ariadne and things like that. So I'm really, really intrigued about those ones. So I'm gonna see. It depends how tired I am today. When I get back from work, I may read another one. And I'm rambling about this, and you've heard about this a lot. It's a Greek mythology poetry collection, all by Ovid, all focusing on the fact that men or women may be transformed into creatures or trees or something like that, and you're seeing those stories that surround that. And that's it. That's the reading update. Another long rambly one, but it's been a good time. I'm really enjoying the epic fantasy week that we're having. It's been really good, and now I need to edit a video, get ready for work, the usual things, so I'll probably update you a little bit later in the week, and yeah, go from there. So thanks for listening to me ramble yet again. Hello. We have quite a lot of reading updates to do, but first of all I need to actually get one of the books, which, yeah, lighting not the best right here, but okay, we have the book. Let's go over here again, because it's one of those days today with the lighting is a bit all over the place, but let's pop you on here. That'll do. Lovely. So as I said, we've got quite a lot of reading updates to do, but before I get into that, I received some super exciting book mail yesterday, like so excited. I did a whole unboxing video on my TikTok, which is, I've mentioned it before, majority of my unboxings go on there, so if you want to have a look you can. But I had my very first publisher mail and I'm so excited, so thank you so much again to Serpent's Tail for sending me this. This is the ARC, so the advanced reader's copy of The Human Origins of Beatrice Porter and Other Essential Ghosts by Soraya Palmer, and I'm so excited to have this book in my hands. This comes out in April, 27th of April, and it's all about Caribbean folklore, which, yes, thank you so much. Oh my god, I love folklore and fairy tales and wanting to read all the retellings of it all the books inspired of it this year. And you'd know that if you've been watching a few of my different videos, because I haven't stopped talking about it. So I was so happy to have this and have them reach out to me and ask if I'd want a copy, and yes. So we're following two sisters, Zora and Sasha, and they are dealing with a very violent father and a mother that's really ill, and they're dealing with it in different ways that's causing them to drift apart. Zora into her journaling, into her writing, and Sasha, she's discovered sex, chest binding, and has a girlfriend. But these two sisters are going to have to come back together when they discover some family secrets, and it's going on from there. This is a debut novel looking at the importance of stories, what happens when our stories get erased, like are we erased as well, or do we come back haunting? It sounds absolutely amazing and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. So definitely going to be picking up this book soon. It's a beautiful cover, and I'm so intrigued to see how the Caribbean folklore is going to play a part in this. So yes, my very first book mail, well, my very first publisher book mail. I'm just, oh my god, so happy and feel so lucky. But as I said, reading updates, we have quite a few because I finished The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie and I really enjoyed this. This was really good. I have to say that the ending of the book, I can't really say what's happening. Not because it's the ending of a book, but because it's ended in a place where I'm like, I'm very confused as to what is happening with our characters. We have Giselle and Logan, they're now together and they're going off with the Magus to the edge of the world. That's all I really know about what's going on there. And then Glocta's been given a different mission because we do have the different wars that's going on, one from the north and one from the south, and the Union's kind of stuck in the middle, and I'm really intrigued to see how it's all gonna go. But this book was just exploring our characters, like that's what it was, to get a really good feel and understanding of our different characters, their different motives and even their fears, and I liked that. There are things about this book that are so intriguing that I really want to see explored more. There's a lot of things that have been mentioned that I'm like, oh, I'm curious to see how this is going to work. So definitely want to get the books. 100%, and I would love to read the second book in time for the Catch Up Book Club's live show, but I'm not sure when that is. I was watching Abby's April TBR video and she mentioned how they're reading it in April, but I don't know whether it's April and May or if it's just April. So I don't know if I'm going to be in time for the Catch Up Book Club. I really need to look into it. I will do that and then put the information here. But yeah, I need to do that. But I really enjoyed this book. It's a really good start to a series, as you know, because I've been gushing about it. But talking about a good start to a series, I have also been reading more of The Last Wish. I am now up to page 184, The Voice of Reason 5. So The Voice of Reason is like these little snippets that is an overarching story that threads together between these shorter snippets of what Geralt gets up to. And this, I can 100% say, is inspired by fairy tales, like so much so. We've had Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs mentioned in this book. We've also had Cinderella, Rapunzel, all the different fairy tale stories that I grew up with as a child are in this. They're so much darker and I'm loving it for that. Like, it's so good. I think it's really good. Even Beauty and the Beast was mentioned in this, which I think was really good. So yeah, this is great, and again keeping with my theme for this year of prioritising reads that are inspired by fairy tales and folklore, and just seeing the different ways that authors use those stories and interpret it in such different ways. And this one I can say is dark, but I'm loving it. I don't have long left to go. I think, if I'm right, I've got 2 Voice of Reason parts left to go and then 2 short stories, because you have Voice of Reason first followed by a short story. So I think I've only got a couple left. Oh, okay, so we have Voice of Reason 5, which is where I'm up to, and then we've got a short story, then the Voice of Reason 6, another short story, and then the last Voice of Reason 7, and that's it. That's the end of it. So this is definitely getting finished up this weekend. I would say tomorrow, but tomorrow is my 24-hour readathon. I will have the TBR video linked below if you're interested. That 24-hour readathon video will be coming out after this vlog, so I don't think I'm going to read it during that. I could to finish it, we'll see how I'm feeling, but I think what it's going to be is I'll read some more of it today and then probably finish it up Sunday. Thinking that's the plan. Before I get into my weekend plans and what I'm going to be doing, I have been reading more of Ovid's Metamorphoses. I've continued reading this one as I finish work, and this is really working for me. I'm now up to page 190, and the last few were really good. Like, I really enjoyed them. We've got so many different things happening that I know the stories of, like Icarus, the fall of Icarus, so Icarus and the sun, flying too close to the sun and then he dies, so that was really good. We've got Melaga and the boar. Sorry, I'm not great at pronouncing these names. That was amazing because again, that's a story that I've heard of. There's a lot about the Argonauts, Jason and the Argonauts. Before they became Jason and the Argonauts, they were dealing with that boar, and now we're seeing parts of continuations of story there. We've also got a bit more of Theseus's story. So yeah, I'm just loving it. I really am enjoying this and reading it, and I do think reading it just a few pages before bed is such a good way to do it. If I carry on doing like 6 pages before bed, this is going to take me a month to read. Like, I worked it out, about 31 days if I do it at 6 pages a day, which I may continue on with that. I may read a little bit more, I don't know, but if I can turn this into a habit where I'm reading a couple of short poems before bed, this would be amazing, because I have a poetry collection that I'm in the middle of, that I've been in the middle of for like the last year and just haven't really continued on with it. And I also have a few fairy tale collections that I'm in the middle of, like Grimm's fairy tales. I was reading one of those a day, but just fell out of the habit of it. So if I can establish that as an actual habit, that before bed I read just a few pages or a short story or something, that would be really good. And that's a great way to tackle some of these bigger collections that I have. I'm not going to get my hopes up high because this is only the 3rd night in a row of me doing this, but that is the plan, that every time I'm at home before I go to bed, I would like to read a few poems of this. And if I can finish this book doing it that way, then it will inspire me to do the same for the other short story collections and the poetry collection that I have. That's the plan. We'll see whether it works or not, because I did try doing it as when I wake up, I read one. The problem is what if I've got work and I have to be up at 5 in the morning? I'm not reading that early in the morning, like I'm getting ready to go to work. So doing this before I go to bed is a much better option, and it stops me from staying on my phone, which is great. So that's that plan. We're gonna see whether it works. Let me know if you have anything like that. Like, do you try and set like habits like that? Does it ever work? I don't know, I'll be curious. But weekend plans, because we are at the weekend. I don't have work, which is great. Today is a bit of a busy one. I need to go do some food shopping, potentially edit. I may be meeting my partner after he finishes work. I might be going to Borough Market. Not sure about that one, depends how tired he is. But this evening I am meeting up with a work colleague and we're going to see a show which is, I've left my phone somewhere, but it's something about the jury with Agatha Christie. Again, I'll put the name up here. I'm so excited. This is going to be so good. Can't wait. We both really love Agatha Christie books, and so when she said she was going to see it, she was like, do you want to come? And I was like, yes, of course. So we're doing that. We're meeting up for dinner and theatre, so that's going to be great. Tomorrow, as I've mentioned, is the 24-hour readathon, and then Sunday me and my partner are going out to this tea experience thing. I don't know whether it's tea tasting or whether it's tea brewing, or I'm not sure. There was a couple of different options and I can't remember the one that we picked. But again, that's going to be really good. So we've got loads going on this weekend. The only book really that I'm going to be focusing on will be Metamorphoses before I go to sleep, and then finishing this one, because my weekend is busy enough that I don't think I'm going to read anything else for this video. Like I said, 24-hour readathon I have a whole separate TBR for. But that's it. That's this update done, and I do need to go do some food shopping. It's looking like it's raining. And then we're going to see what the rest of the day brings. I will, of course, bring you with me. And yeah, okay, let's go. Let's get started, because I have a good weekend and I think it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I hope your weekend goes well. And yeah, let me know what you're up to. But I will see you very soon. morning. This is the second video that I am wrapping up because I just finished my 24-hour readathon and I really enjoyed it. It was really good, and during the 24-hour readathon it didn't actually go to plan, but I did get quite a bit done. So that video will be coming out after this one, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. But time to wrap up this weekly vlog. So as we know, I finished The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie and I really enjoyed this book. It was a really good start to a series. I enjoyed the character exploration and yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to carry on with the rest of the series. Whether I do it in time for Catch Up Book Club remains to be seen, but I did very much enjoy it. I did also read up to page 190 in The Metamorphosis, not all of this. I think it was about 30 pages in total that I read. I haven't actually read any more over the last 2 days, mainly because on Friday evening I didn't get back home till really late. I went to see Witness for the Prosecution by Agatha Christie and oh my god, that was so good. It was absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend. But by the time that I had finished and got home, I was so tired, I just went straight to bed. And then yesterday, obviously being my 24-hour readathon, I didn't pick up this book as part of it. So haven't actually read any more, but I do want to. I'm probably not going to read any more tonight though, because I am going out with my partner. We're going to like this tea tasting brewing thing, and then I'll be staying with him. So probably won't get any more read tonight either. So I will be going back to doing this of an evening, but probably from Monday. And maybe I will just do that during the week. Like Monday to Thursday kind of thing, because then I don't know, we'll see what happens. But yes, I did really enjoy this, and looking at the different gods and goddesses, their pettiness and the way it impacts humans, and the different, like, again, tragedies that just go with this. Like, it is, some of the stories are so tragic and so heartfelt and just so lovely, and then some of them are really like, ugh, really? Like the ones with Perseus and Theseus, I'm just like, oh god, because it was a lot of fighting and a lot of stuff, and I don't actually like them as characters. So yeah, anyway, so that's been good. And then I did finish The Witcher, The Last Wish, and this was so good. I really enjoyed this. Another start to a series. Honestly, that's what this week's been, is epic fantasy and the start of series. But both of them I've really liked, and both of them are series I want to continue. And I can't wait to get the next set of short stories. I thought this was just fantastic, especially by reading a short story a morning. That was so lovely. Like, obviously you had the voice of reason and then followed by a short story, and reading one voice of reason and one short story in the morning before going off to work, before doing anything I needed to do for my day, was so lovely. So I definitely want to get the next set of short stories and do the same thing, and then after that it starts with the actual novels. But yeah, this was absolutely delightful. I really enjoyed it, and the illustrations have just made this such a great experience. Not a massive reading week, but I did read a 500-page ebook, and then, okay, alright, only 30 pages of this, so I shouldn't really show the Metamorphosis, but a whole other book as well. So I've read about like 700-ish, no, or is it 800-ish? Because this was 326 pages? 426 pages? 326 pages, and then about 550 pages of an ebook, and then 30 pages of this. So that's almost 900 pages. I think that's pretty good, to be fair. I mean, not that I actually care, I just read what I feel like. Anyway, that's beside the point, I am rambling. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read either of these, if you've actually read like the Joe Abercrombie series or the Witcher series, let me know. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here. So I think, because there's been loads of epic fantasy, what should we put in the comments? Maybe like a wizard or something in the comments, because both of the books I was reading, The Blade Itself and The Witcher, have magic and magus and sorcerers involved. So I think a wizard would be good. But thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Those 3 things really do help this channel out. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the next video.